that are losing crews every day due to this.
If they're not your employees, that has no effect on you.
You're 10% too cheap for the last month. If you don't have a friend in the tree business, find one. They send a ton of business our way.
So this is Roofer2Roofer. So you got Scott with Rainstoppers Roofing and myself, AJ, CEO of ProLine. So you got both the tech side of the roofing business and you got the actual owner side of the roofing business. And so between us, we have a lot of general business experience. So we're here to answer your guys' questions about the roofing business. Anything you guys want help with, we're here to advise and help. So just think of it essentially as a free consulting session about the roofing for your roofing business. So any questions that you guys have, put those in the chat or in the Q&A at the bottom of Zoom. And then if we don't have questions from you guys, we'll go through our questions that we've compiled over the past months. But we always like hearing from you guys if we can. So it looks like we already have a question from Julian, so I really appreciate that. We'll go ahead and start with that. I don't think we've ever actually started with a question from somebody joining us before. We always start with our own questions. This is great. Thank you, Julian, for jumping straight in with a question. When pitching commercial jobs, retail commercial jobs, what is your follow-up process? How are you pitching money savings, value, especially to the owner of the commercial property?
Yeah, I mean, we treated commercial retail just like we do residential retail, pretty much. And to answer that, we use ProLine. We use a lot of automated follow up through text and email. Um, you can do different things where you can set up different stage triggers to where, or different campaigns, that are specific to commercial that would, more cater to that kind of customer, that kind of follow up. I would agree that there'd be some verbiage change in how you would text a commercial client versus potentially a residential client, but it's the same process, right? We're still sending text, we're still sending email, automated. And then we're still calling. So a big one with commercial, I feel like, is relationships. I mean, obviously relationships matter in residential, but in commercial, relationships are number one. Like, they literally are hiring relationships. A lot of residential customers are higher in price. You can talk about pitching money saving stuff, but at the end of the day, most people in the commercial space, um, they just want someone they can count on, because it's likely, if let's say it's a property management company, which we crush with, we're in multiple college towns. We're in Athens, Ohio, which is where Ohio University's at. We're in Morgantown, where WVU's at. So we're in multiple college towns, a lot of property management companies. We used to think that it was all about price with those guys, and it's really not. They just want someone that when they've got a leak, they can call, they can get a quick repair made, they can get an estimate, and then be on the book to have that roof replaced in the next week or two. So with follow up, it needs to be personalized. I believe picking the phone up and calling is the best way. Even sending a text that says, "Hey, customer, could I give you a call to talk to you a little bit about the quote I sent you a couple days ago? I've got some things I would like to bring up." Just whatever. Like, even if they're not answering, follow up with a text. Trying to initiate a phone call and have that conversation. I think that's key.
Yep. Yeah, like you're saying, the relationship is everything with commercial roofing. And so the thing is, relationships are everything, and relationships are mostly communication. So if you got to have that process for the communication, and then you got to be able to maintain that relationship, because it doesn't even, I mean, even if you're good friends with somebody, if you're, you're doing a commercial job for them and they don't know what's going on and they get freaked out, they're not going to, not be freaked out just because you know them or you're friends with them. So it's like that relationship can still go downhill regardless. So you got to be able to actually still provide a high level of communication, regardless of whether it's a random homeowner that you just met that came through your website or a commercial deal that you've been working for 6 months through networking events. Um, did do you do any kind of intentional networking in your community, Scott, around commercial jobs?
Unfortunately, I'm really, really bad at it. I'm good at it. I just am really bad about doing it. Um, with all the Chamber of Commerce stuff that we have in the area and different things like that, we don't have what's the one big one? The networking group.
Uh, there's what's it called? I know what you're talking about. It's like EO.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, we don't have any of those where I'm at, but we do have a lot of chambers. Um, and I'm terrible about going to the events and stuff. We're part of all of them, but I'm just don't go real often. I was fortunate because I come from a home building background that I had a community of different tradesmen that I worked with on a daily basis: plumbers, electricians, insulators, uh, HVAC guys, landscapers. I got a friend that owns a tree company, the biggest tree company in our area. So I have a lot of those connections through that, and fortunately, that has led to quite a bit of business for us. The tree company, I'm here to tell you, if you don't have a friend in the tree business, find one because they're what happens when a tree falls? Usually, if someone's paying a tree company to remove a tree, it's probably because it fell on the house or a big limb struck the house or, something like that. Like it's usually did something. So they send a ton of business our way. After storms, I can almost guarantee Vince is going to hit me up with 5 or 6 good projects. So, it's always that's a great relationship to have.
Yep. I love that. Um, I'm seeing a couple questions here regarding ProLine specifically. So just FYI, guys, this is just about the roofing business in general. This is not a ProLine specific thing that we're doing here. So I will briefly address both of these questions, but I just want to let you guys know we don't typically take any ProLine specific questions on this call. Haley was asking about integrating company cam with ProLine. For that, just reach out to our support. Our support usually responds in less than 5 minutes, usually in like 2 minutes, they're going to respond. So if you just reach out to them, how do I integrate company cam with ProLine? They're going to send you the guide that we have. They'll get on a call with you. If you need to get on a call, they'll walk you through it and they'll get you completely handled for that very quickly. And then Julian, you're asking about, can ProLine automate the process for commercial jobs? And the answer is yes. There's all those automations in ProLine. You will need to, we have some stuff that's pre-built for commercial that you can utilize. And then you can customize those to your liking to be specific for your company. So yeah, all that is in ProLine, either already built out, or you can dial it in and customize it. You can also use our support team. They can help you. And then there's also, consultants that can help as well. Scott also owns STR Consulting. And so you can always contact Scott if you're looking for someone that can do things for you, can set things up for you. And there's other partners that we have as well that can do that. But it's also very easy to do for yourself inside of ProLine, especially with the guidance of our support team.
Yeah.
All right. All right, we do have another question here from Julian. Thoughts I've pondered. With so much tech now available in the space, I feel as if I'm running SMMA or tech company with only difference being product. What are your thoughts on this, on the future of home innovation? What are the big dogs seeing happening? Or what are you big dogs seeing happening?
Not a big dog.
I don't know, Scott. You're bigger than most.
Um, yeah, I don't disagree with that. I said, and I really didn't see this. I was, I guess I wasn't really previewed to a lot of what was going on in the industry. Because I was off social media for a long time, and where I lived, there just wasn't a whole lot of Latino labor. There wasn't a whole lot of subcontracting going on. Like that kind of thing wasn't going on. Um, but there was a company local to me and they advertised fantastically. Like everything was just dialed in, right? But they were expensive. They were very expensive, but man, they looked the part. and they did a lot of subcontracting. They had a little bit in-house labor, but mostly subcontracting. And I knew this because a friend of mine worked through them as a sub. Um, and I always said, man, that, and I won't name the company, but that company is basically a sales company. They just happen to sell roofs. They're just a sales business. They're nothing more than a marketing and sales business. And that got me thinking. I'm like, well, hell, I can do that. Like that's where I always outworked everybody. That was kind of my key. But what I was really good at was marketing and sales. I can talk to anybody. I do understand marketing because it's just something that I've always really enjoyed. So I've always done a lot of homework on marketing. So I looked into it and I started, I had 16 in-house employees at the time, and I thought, I could do this. Like the trouble with us is always labor. Like we have to turn marketing down because we're outselling what we can keep up with by a lot. And so labor was always the trouble. And so fortunately, through a really good contact, I found some Latino subcontracting crews. I'm going down a rabbit hole, but regardless, bear with me. Once I figured out labor and figured out that side of the business on how to never really run out of labor, make it like we keep an open door to subcontractors. We have a complete open door. You call us looking for business, and we get them at least a couple a month. Crews calling our company wanting to come work for us. We've got a Google Doc sheet that has all their contact info. So when we're ready to bring in more crews, we just start at the top of the list and we start bringing in crews. Now it's changed because technology has really, really stepped in, and it's still, I think, a very heavy sales and marketing business. But man, with AI, with the tech that's available, I mean, honestly, like ProLine's automations was kind of the beginning of AI, really, like, because it looks exactly like it's coming from the sales rep. It looks exactly like a real text message. It's not some BS looking text. You can type out exactly what you want to say, and then it's just automated as an action happens, things are happening. So that was kind of like the beginning of the AI type of thing inside of roofing. And now we truly have AI available for us. So now it's almost a tech business as much as it is a sales and marketing business. And if you're not utilizing technology, there'll always be a market. And I don't care what anybody says. I know some of these gurus will tell you that if you're not in the 5 biggest cities in the country, you're wasting your time. Like there's all these like things. That's BS. There's always a place for a down home local company that self-performs their labor, the owner's on the roof nailing shingles with these 2 or 3 help. There's always a place for that. There always will be a place for that. But if you're looking to surpass the competition, you have to be utilizing tech today. We're able, and I hate this, but I have to. We have to implement more and more tech, and we're able to keep driving our price down. It's not a race to the bottom, but it is a race to sell more, outsell our competitors at the same profit margin. Well, when I can utilize tech, say I spend 2 grand a month on tech that replaces 10 grand a month worth of salaries. Well, guess what? That's 8 grand a month worth of overhead I don't have. That drops my overhead percentage. And it's actually, for us, it's significantly more than that. That number's skewed by a lot. Um, the gap is way bigger for us because we do utilize tech very well. But yeah, I mean that's where the business is going. The roofing industry is turning not into just a sales and marketing business, but is also becoming a tech business, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think fundamentally sales and marketing is becoming overwhelmingly tech. It's always been dominated by tech, but sales and marketing in general is just so much like to be effective at sales and marketing, you have to be utilizing a lot of technology if you want to compete. And
Yep.
so it does just play together. It kind of comes along with the territory of being a sales and marketing business, which yeah, roof like you're saying, Scott, like that's primarily what a roofing business is. Unless you're a subcontractor and you do mostly subcontract work, in which case it's more logistics and production. But unless you're the subcontractor actually on the roof doing the roofs and hiring the crews, then primarily you're a sales and marketing organization, which is not specific to roofing. That's so like Julian's question here, um, is the only difference being the product, becoming a tech company with the only difference being the product. And you're right. I mean, you can take once you can do it in your roofing business. You unlock you crack the code for roofing. You could do it in any other vertical. I wouldn't do it under one brand, right?
Right.
We've talked about niching before, but you can always move into another vertical, another type of product or service, and apply that over. And a lot of it will carry over once you've done it for one type of business. It does really carry over nicely between the two.
Yeah. Yeah. We've looked at different, we've looked at like going into the plumbing business, the plumbing service business, and basically just running it as a very, very similar platform. There's a couple of little differences, but overall it's the same. Once you get it figured out, it's kind of the same. Windows is a great one. And I know there's companies that run roofing, siding, windows as a roofing company. I think that's wrong myself. I just personally think that's wrong because what's your name? Something construction, like, okay, so now you're not a specialist. You just called yourself a construction company. Your phone's gonna ring all freaking day for bathroom remodels. I want to be a roofing company, and then I want to own Rain Stoppers Roofing, and then I want to own Wonderful Windows or what, you know what I mean? Like I want a separate entity that is a window business, and that's completely separate. My sales guys are different. My production teams are different. My admin's different. It would be a totally separate entity altogether. But what you're saying, AJ, is exactly right. I mean, it's the same process. It's just doing it in a different field.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing that's changed is the production side. But you can kind of plug in and play that. Which may look very different. Like I'm sure plumbing is completely different.
Plumbing is very different. Very different.
But the sales and marketing piece, like all the way until you get that like initial, like the scheduling piece, basically up to that point is the same.
Yep.
But all right, good question here. Another good question from Julian, I think. Here we got speaking of labor, we had an instance with an amazing crew that we found, but everyone is unfortunately illegal outside of the foreman. How are people protecting themselves? Would you continue working with them with the correct sub agreement in place?
That's an interesting one. So I'll just give you my honest opinion, and I'm not saying this is what we do. Don't hold me accountable. I'm just what I believe I would do if I was in that situation. I would play by the don't ask, don't tell rule. And as long as your paperwork is accurate, the guy that you're writing checks to is a legitimate subcontractor. He has all the proper paperwork. I don't know the legality of it, so don't hold me to this. I really don't. But as far as I'm concerned, if I was to go to court over something with this, I would say that guy is who I paid. He is the owner. He is the subcontractor. Him and I have an agreement that this work is going to be done for X money. That's our only agreement.
Yeah.
I don't run his business. I don't have any interest in his entire operation. That's his business. I don't agree with the illegal immigration stuff. I have different views. I also think that there's, there's a lot of really good people that are much more proactive in our communities and much more provide more to our communities that are illegal than, there's a lot of lazy Americans that don't do shit and don't provide anything to the community. And there's a lot of guys that just don't have the paperwork, that their kids are in our schools, they're roofing your house, they're doing all the different things that they're really good at. And unfortunately, we do need some of those guys. But yeah, I like the don't ask, don't tell. It's not my business. I'm not going around asking. And to be honest with you, I don't ask my guys. I know Most of them are legal because I do know I've worked with enough of these guys long enough to know some of them are married now. Some, different situations that I do know factually. Some of them have bought houses like that. They've literally bought houses off me. So I went to the attorney's office and signed paper. They had to be legal, right, to do certain things.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I do know a fair amount of them are legal, but I'm not going around being like, "Hey, that new guy you picked up, I don't recognize him. So you got his green card." Like, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not my business. That's not where That's not my place.
Yeah, neither of us are attorneys, but I would say with like 99% confidence that if they're not your employees, that has no effect on you. Like if you're hiring a legitimate US based company owned by a US citizen or a US someone who holds a green card, but can legally own that company in the US, then from your perspective, you're in the clear. How he runs his business is up to him. The thing is, like realistically, maybe you can correct me on this, Scott, but realistically, unless you're working up in like Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, because there's some other types of crews up there, or if you're in Canada, or like really up north. But I'm in Wyoming right now. All the crews here, none of them, like most of them are have people that are not legal. Like, and this is pretty far north. So it's like I don't think you can realistically find reliable crews at any high volume if your criteria is that you want to only work with crews that have complete legal crews. Would you disagree with that?
I would have to agree with that. And the only reason I say I would have to agree with that is not because of firsthand basis. It's because of how many relationships I have across the country that are losing crews every day due to this. So thank God, fortunately enough for me, I have yet to deal with it. Knock on wood. I hope it's something I never deal with. But almost every relationship that I have in this business, they have dealt with it to some caliber. Guys from Michigan to Florida. I mean,
Oh,
everywhere. So yeah, it's definitely rampant. It's definitely an issue that we're going to deal with here for the next few years for sure. Um, and I don't think there's good and bad to both sides of it, right? There's good and bad to both sides of it. It's just trying to get through it. Hopefully, a lot of these guys go through the proper channels, come back, have some legality, and we never deal with it again. I think that's what we need to look for and look forward to is hopefully over the next few years, this problem gets fixed and it's right,
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I think, the details of that, like I think there's the political side of it, which is one thing. And then I think there's just operating your business and the realities of operating the business in this industry, and being able to provide a good service to your customers. And so I think those are two different things. And so regardless of where you sit on it politically, I think there's just some realities you have to sort of face from a business perspective on it. But yeah, totally agree. I hope there's some better system because it's
Come up here to Ohio, load up all these Amish guys, and take them wherever you're at. Get them the hell out of here because
Yeah.
I hate competing with them guys.
Yeah, you can bring those
They just roofed my freaking neighbor's house, man. Like, what the hell? But they're like $3,000 cheaper on a $11,000 roof. I mean, like, we can't even get close. And we were at a 25% gross profit on it. So it's not like we weren't raking it in. And man, they just beat the hell out of us on price.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
That is wild. That is wild.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Julian says we were in West Michigan. Amish sold 25 square metal roof for 9K. That's do you think that the Amish do you think that they don't know how to run a business, or do you think that their living expenses are just so low that they don't
Think
care?
about it. Dude, I live literally, so they're buying up I own the first, there's one other farm. I own the first sizable farm from city limits, okay? So I can be on Front Street in Marietta in like 4 minutes, and I live on a 65-acre farm. Every piece of farm ground past me that comes for sale, they're buying. So I'm surrounded by these guys. There's freaking horse and buggies running up and down my road now. Never was that
Oh,
before.
I guess
Yeah. but I know some of them, and I buy some. I bought like rough cut lumber off of them and different things like that over the years. And like, I'll just tell you a quick story. I went and bought a load of rough cut. No, it's a load of hardwood, a hardwood floor, and they mill it themselves. And so I go out there to pick it up. They send me a letter in the mail to tell me it's ready. That's how they communicate. So I get this letter in the mail. My lumber's ready. So I go out there to pick it up. A 9-year-old boy helped me load an entire trailer load of lumber. A 9-year-old boy. His two sisters, which one of them was younger and one might have been like 12, were out in the field. I don't know what it was, what they were picking, but they were picking vegetables or whatever it was. They're out there farming. Like, they have no living expense. 0. I mean, they don't buy fuel for cars. They plant all their own goods. They butcher their own cattle that they raise themselves, and they bought their bull and their steers, or their bull and their cows years ago, and they're making calves, and like they don't have expense. I mean, it's so minimal that they just need to make a little bit of money. They don't need to make much. And the other kicker is they're all family. Well, with family, they all own the business. So if there's 6 of them, they might all be brothers or whatever, first cousins. They all own the company together. It's a partnership, so they don't have to pay payroll tax on the money that they receive from the business. They're all just like, I'm an S corp. If I get paid, I don't have to pay payroll tax for writing my check. Well, they want to do that for anybody, right? So there's another big deduction that they don't have to do. They've just got a bunch of ways to make it work. They each make a couple $100, $300 a day. They're raking it in because they're going to spend 30 of it. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. So yeah, hell, they live in houses that 8 people live in the same house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, and they help each other build them. It's crazy to watch them. It's actually pretty intriguing. I'm kind of enamored with it because it's such an interesting way of life, and it's special. I mean, to watch it is pretty special because they're tougher than we are. I can tell you that.
Yeah. It's a different way of living. That's interesting. That's interesting. That's hard to compete with. It's
I'll
hard to
give you
compete
one
with people
last
that
piece.
don't need anything.
You know the Amish community never dealt with COVID, right?
Really?
Never dealt with it.
Never
Never
had
got
an issue.
all of them I ever talked to, they didn't even know there was a vaccination. They didn't know anything about it
It's just sort of fine.
because they're healthy people. So they didn't, even if they got sick, it was just like they had the flu and just had their remedies and move on. Like,
Right.
nobody knew anything about it.
Yeah.
Wild.
That is wild. That is wild. Oh man. All right. Thanks for all the questions, guys. Thanks for all those questions, Julian. Those are good. If anybody else has questions, please put those in the chat or in the Q&A. We'll go ahead and grab one of our questions from the list. All right. So this question is, do you cross-sell other services and products with roofing, such as solar panels or gutter systems? Well, let's just focus on solar panels. Do you sell solar panels with roofing? And what would be the most effective strategy for doing that if you do?
We've tried digging into that a little bit, and it's no, I don't like it. Honestly, nobody in my area even buys them. I know of maybe a dozen houses with solar panels. Like, I just don't even hardly know anybody that has it. The hard part is, to really do it right, you need an electrician either on payroll, or you need a really, really good sub electrician that's kind of, ready to go at a moment's notice. You're putting a roof on, they need to come be, doing all the wiring. So I just think it's a uh, tough thing to blend. I know there's a lot of companies that do it, but for me, it's just not worth it. Like, I would just rather sell another roof. Like, I'll just work harder to get more roofs, or I'll sell my roofs at just a little less margin to have more business and do more volume than try to upsell solar. You mentioned gutter. I hate selling gutter, but we sell a bunch of it. I hate selling it because it's a cash flow problem because we don't take deposits. And, if our gutter guy's running 2 weeks behind, we've done the roof and we may have done 10 or 20, honestly. We might have 20 roofs completed that are all waiting on gutter that we've paid the material bill on, that we've paid the labor bill on, we've paid commission, like everything's done. And I'm just waiting on $2,000 worth of gutter to cash in a $20,000 roof project. So I hate it for cash flow reasons, but it's such an easy upgrade to sell. And it probably, when we sell gutter, we're probably averaging 2 to 3 grand worth of gutter. So upgrades are, ticket price, couple $3,000, and it's an easy pitch. I mean, if the gutter's in bad shape, we just place them when we do the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Those, yeah, it's never something that you guys have to push or like convince them on typically.
We don't even try to sell it. We just when they ask, we sell it.
Yeah, because you don't want them going through the hassle of having to find some gutter person.
You'll lose roofs over it. That's the problem. You're not going to lose roofs over not providing solar. You'll lose roofs off not providing gutter because they will. Almost every roofing company is willing to sell gutter.
Yeah. What about siding?
So we do it on a limited basis. What I like about siding is we got a crew at that house doing work for, a few days instead of one day. So we get a little bit more attention from the neighbors, things like that. And that can be good or bad. Usually it's good. The one thing I'll say about siding, so let's say you got a $20,000 siding job, and this is just for us. Uh, a $20,000 siding job's probably somewhere, let's just say a 3-ish day project. That same crew can do a $20,000 roof in one day. So when we're busy with roofing, we really don't want siding. We don't want to tie up crews. Siding is harder to find good crews for than roofing. And so we're pulling, a couple of our really good crews to do the siding job when we could be having them do $20,000 worth of roofing a day instead of $20,000 worth of siding every 3 days. So we are very selective on siding.
Oh, that makes sense. All right. Next question here. Just make sure if you guys have any other questions for us, you can put those in the chat or in the Q&A. But next question I have here on the list are, what are the most important things to include in my quotes and sales presentations?
Most important things to include in your quotes and sales presentations.
Yeah.
Um,
Elements to include.
yeah.
On
So
your pages or information.
I feel like a couple of things that we have in our ProLine quotes that are huge. We have payment options for financing. So every quote automatically generates a financing option and gives them an estimated payment amount per month. I think that's huge. It sells financing kind of for you. People see that it's only $200 a month. Well, instead of 14 grand or whatever, and it's $200 or $300 a month, they're much more interested in hearing about that financing option. So I like that. I like signable PDFs inside of the quote to where they can DocuSign the contract just right in front of you. That's fantastic. I like a gallery page too. Being able to put some of your inspection photos in the quote, the things that you found that are making that roof a pressing matter, damaged sheeting from the attic or missing shingles on the roof or what have you. Having those photos in the quote gives them something really uh puts a little bit of pressure on them, like, hey, you need to do something, right? So I think those are nice too.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Julian asks, oh, got a couple questions here from Julian. Question is, what has stopped you from having rain stoppers uh, and a copy company strictly for siding and windows? Pasted processes from ProLine, potentially the same management team. I guess like having two different brands
Yeah.
running.
To be absolutely honest, I like to fuck off a lot, and that means I gotta go back to work a lot. So, because it doesn't happen overnight. Like I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, we know the process. We know the ingredients it takes to make you know the main dish, right? But you still got to do all the prep work. You got to get everything ready. You got to do all the hiring. You got to build all the processes in there. It's yes, they're the same, but you still have to bring these people in and teach them and implement it and get it rolling. And that's expensive too. Like don't mistake that. Like building a business or organically, like you started your first business and you just slowly I've been at this 10 years now, going on 11, reinvesting each year some money back into the business is not that difficult to do. But in 10 years, you've invested a lot of money to get it to where it's at. If I wanted to build a window company that I wanted to be doing, $3 or $4 million worth of windows a year, and I wanted to try to do that in year one, which is how I would want to do it. I wouldn't at this point, I wouldn't want to slow roll it. Um, I'm going to fork over $500,000 immediately just to get the thing off the ground and really get it running the way I'd want it to run. Um, and like I say, it's work. Don't think that just because you know the formula, there's not a lot of work involved. And I've built a business. I will say I've built a very good lifestyle business. I was hell bent. I wanted to build $100 million roofing company. Not that I may not get there someday, and it may not happen. I don't foresee it. I'm not trying to. Um, and I think to get there, you do have to try to. I built a business that does very well, makes very good profit at the end of the day, employs really good people, and I have to do very little. And I love that. I get to spend a ton of time with my kids. I vacation a lot. I still do some work while I'm on the road, but I mean, we enjoy life a lot. So I'm not really too ate up with going and selling somebody a bunch of windows because I've got the little bit of money I need, and it's a great lifestyle, and we've got a great operation. And I like to leave it at that. My kids get older, things will change. I'm sure. When I start getting bored and I can't play with my little boys anymore, I'll go scorched earth again. But for the next 10 years, I don't see myself getting excited enough to step away from what I'm enjoying.
Oh, that makes sense. Julian asks, when are you going to release the sauce and show us the rain stoppers, quote design, and automated processes?
I did a video on it one time. There's a
Yeah.
YouTube video that circled the internet there for a minute. I don't know where it's at today, but it's out there. I think I did it on quote templates. It was also an older quote template when shoot, what's that been, AJ? That's been over a year ago probably.
Yeah. That's
So
probably mostly relevant. It's
it's still relevant.
on Roofer, right?
I don't remember. Anyway, it's out there. I could do another one, do a refresh sometime. It's no secret. I'm not bashful. I don't want to go sit on a call with 50 individuals for an hour apiece to show them how to do it, but I'm happy to do a Loom video and post it anywhere and share it with whoever wants to see it. It's not a secret, but it does work well. We have a ton of success with it.
Yeah, I don't see it on your I don't see it on
It
your
was on. It was for you guys, so it was on yours.
oh, it was on ProLine.
It's been a while ago. I recorded it at a hotel. I remember that. Actually, I remember exactly where it was. I was at a GAF conference in Maryland, and I had some downtime, so I went and recorded that video. That was a year ago.
Yeah, I think we have two videos from you. that are in. I'll just post both of these. One of these probably. Oh yeah, I found it. Here we go. I'm posting this into the chat. Scott's process. Okay, there we go. That's the YouTube video that goes through it. We also have another one from you. It's just labeled CRM Secrets Exposed. So I'll put that in there too. But that one's
If you hunt around there, if Julian, you get on their YouTube channel, just start hunting around because there's one that I think I specifically went through the quote template.
I think that's the first one I just shared.
Yeah, it might be.
Because it was, I can see you're in a hotel. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Oh, there's a whole. Oh, we have a whole playlist of videos from you specifically. Oh yeah, you did a lot. Here's the playlist. That last one is the playlist. This just has all of the videos you've done, Scott, for us on different stuff. All right. We're running low on time here. We'll do another question here from you, Julian. How do you play nice with other company owners? What do you gain? I've met a few at the supply house and have heard interesting comments. Some are trying to build relationships. We're trying to put them out of business.
That's my attitude.
Yeah, why be friends with them if you're trying to put them out of business?
Well, I think there's a middle ground though. I think there's a little bit of middle ground. Don't get me wrong. There's a couple in my neck of the woods that I'd love to see them just freaking tank it tomorrow. And I do things, not like spiteful things, but I will alter my business slightly to force failure upon them. Like if I can do anything, I'm not calling OSHA on doing anything like that. And I don't play dirty. I will give roofs away for free, like to beat them. To make sure they're not working tomorrow, I will sell roofs at cost if I know who's bidding on it and I don't like them. There's 2 guys in my area, and if the homeowner says that they got a cheaper quote from one of them, say, well, hold on a second. I'll do one better for you. I'll do it at cost. So, but the rest of them that are respectful, that are like polite people, I don't do anything like that, but I do try to keep your friends close, your enemies closer, right? So I've got a few of them that if I see that they're just smoking me on price, I'll pick the phone up and I'll call them and say, hey man, just letting you know, you're 10% too cheap for the last month. We've seen you 10 times and 10 times in a row, you beat us by 10%. Just letting you know, do as you please with it. And they'll do the same in return with us. So, that definitely is worth knowing. The other good thing about having that is you get in situations with like government work or different things, insurance work. For some reason, we've got some insurance companies that will require 2 or 3 quotes, or government agencies require so many quotes. I have a couple contacts that are competitors of mine that I am able to pick the phone up and say, hey man, I'm bidding this job. It's $20,000. I need you to throw a bid on it. I need you to be over 20 grand because it goes to the cheapest bidder. You're not getting a chance at it anyway. It's mine to get. And I will do the same for them, right? So there are some upsides to maintaining some relationships there, but at the same time, I'm with you, man. I'm too competitive to let anybody else win. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. All right, next question here was why stop with the Big Roof podcast clips? I think we're still posting Big Roof podcast clips. We might have had a separate channel at one point. I'm not sure if we're still posting them separately, but we definitely post a lot of Big Roofs clips to our main YouTube channel, ProLine. But I'm not on it anymore. It's just my co-founder John that does Big Roofs now. So he's it's just him in those. So then you might not see me. Maybe you're not seeing me in those podcasts anymore or those clips. All right. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you for all the great questions, Julianne. Really appreciate it. And we'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.
Say bye.
There's Scott.